Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Audible. Online people, is it audible to everyone? Okay. So last session we discussed about working with components. Created this application. Everyone able to create the React application, right? And yesterday we learned about React components. In the React application, how to use React components we learned. So all modern web applications are component based. And what is the advantage of being component based? We can easily reuse, we can easily extend, and we can easily test and maintain the applications. So, and not only that, application will be lightweight, faster in interactions. And components are designed by using classes or functions. And in modern React, we recommend components to design using functions. Yesterday, I given you some function topics to have perfection in JavaScript, right? You need to be aware of them. And some rules we learned. So components are designed not with directly JavaScript. They are designed by using JSX. And JSX rules we learned. What are JSX rules? JSX rules, it should start with an uppercase letter component. Component cannot be void type. It must be returning a JSX element. It should return JSX element, and it every element in JSX must have an end token. It must have an end token. So one more important rule is there. That important rule is, note here is, JSX elements cannot use properties, cannot use attributes. You have to configure properties. You have to configure properties. JSX elements will not use any attributes. They cannot use attributes. And you have to use properties. Obviously, you already know in HTML, JavaScript, you learned about attribute and property. What is difference between an attribute and property? In HTML, JavaScript, you will come across with attributes and properties. What is difference between an attribute and a property? Attributes are immutable and properties are mutable. Attributes you define while writing the HTML tags. Properties you define while dynamically using them. For example, you are having an image. For image, you are writing some src. You are writing some width. You are writing some height. What do you call all these as? Attributes. These are all called as attributes. Anything you write directly in HTML, they are attributes. For example, I given some source. That means some picture. And later, according to situation, this picture should change. Is it possible that the image changes according to situation? In HTML, it is not possible. In HTML, we use attributes and attributes are static. In HTML, it is not possible. It is not possible that these values will change according to situation. Once you put a value, it is fixed. It will not change. That is the reason attributes are called as what? Immutable. Immutable, you cannot change them. Fix. Now, if I want to apply source for this image dynamically with JavaScript, then what we do? Document dot some what? Query selector. What is it? Image. For this image, we use what? SRC. Now here, SRC is not an attribute. It is an property. Here, SRC is a property. So attribute name, property name are same here, but they are not same every time. For example, for this image, I want to apply a CSS class. For image, if I want to apply a CSS class, generally in attribute, you use what? Class. And you apply some class name, img, fluid, something like that. Now the same, if I have to apply dynamically through JavaScript. In JavaScript, how you apply? Document.query selector, what is it? Image. You cannot use the word class because class is a attribute name and you cannot use that in JavaScript because in JavaScript already there is a class keyword. Then here the property name is not class. The property name is what? Class name. You learned this, na? I hope you people learned this. In HTML, the attributes that you have used, the same will not be every time in JavaScript. In JavaScript, we cannot use attributes. We have to use properties. Some attributes and properties names are same. In HTML, how you write? In JavaScript also we write in the same way. But some are different. Like class in HTML, in JavaScript it becomes class name. You cannot use class. So in JSX, you cannot use attributes. You have to use what? Properties. You have to use properties. So what does it means? Syntactically, if you write here some image and you want to put a source for the image, then you can put SRC. And you want to put a class for image, then you have to use class name, not class. If you use class, it will not accept. Why? Because class is attribute name and in JSX it must be only property name. You have to apply only properties. So JSX elements will not take attributes. They will take only properties. And you need to define the properties and configure like this. This is how we write. And not only that, actually JSX elements capitalization issues will be there. In HTML it doesn't matter, but in JSX it matters. For example, you return form and you return form, both are different. Both are different. So in HTML you learned some elements. Whatever elements you learned in HTML, all HTML elements must be in lowercase only. If you miss this capitalization also, they don't work. That means you return form in uppercase, it cannot recognize. So all elements must be in lowercase. If you are using HTML elements in JSX, they must be in lowercase. You cannot use uppercase because with uppercase, different elements will be there. So always it is important to define in lowercase. So all JSX elements from HTML must be in lowercase. This is another important you have to know. So form or button. So form and button, these are valid. Just roughly I'm giving. If you write form and you write like button, these are invalid. They are not valid. So suppose you have written some select, that is valid, and you have written some select, that is invalid. Options, select, list items, tables, any element must be in a lowercase. You have to follow that. Another, you cannot have attributes. You must define only properties. Okay. So these basic rules are important to understand. Now let's see how we can design a simple interface using React. How you can design a simple screen using React. How we can implement using React. Let's see one example. So yesterday we learned one more concept. We learned how to use components nested also. Nested means what? A component can have a component inside. Within the component, you can access another components. So now we will use this concept and design one application. So we will set up Bootstrap for project. We will set up Bootstrap for project. Later you will learn how to use React related library. React have its own library like Bootstrap, and we call that library as MUI, Material UI. If you already learned Bootstrap, you know Bootstrap provides ready-made classes and components. By using them, we can create good user interface. And in replacement of Bootstrap, we have Tailwind CSS, Twitter Bootstrap. We have like this one is Telerik. So many third parties are there. React uses a popular third party library called MUI, Material UI. But you cannot try that until or unless you are perfect with React. That means once you finish learning all concepts about components, then you can use that MUI. So initially, we will not use that MUI. You see, MUI, this is Material UI. This is MUI. And you can see this MUI is used for building React apps. And you can observe these all people use that MUI. Spotify, Amazon, NASA, Netflix, these all use that MUI. That means their user interface is designed by using React. I already told you, if anybody asks, give me some real-time examples of React.js. So Netflix, Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, all these are all React applications. They're all built with React. So technically, React people use these libraries, but these libraries are not enough. We need to mix up with lot of others. Some Bootstrap, some Tailwind, some MUI combination we have to use. So, but to learn this, you need to learn first React related major concepts, then you can touch this. So we will use them later, but initially we are going to use Bootstrap, which you learned generally with your HTML. Let's see how to set up Bootstrap in our project. First, open terminal. So, and run the following command in project terminal. What is the command you have to run? npm install bootstrap and bootstrap icons. We have to set up this. Bootstrap and Bootstrap icons. Bootstrap will provide icons also. By using these icons, you can build good user interface. So you will get Bootstrap and Bootstrap icons. I hope you already learned these in general HTML and all. And another point is Bootstrap, once you install, link the Bootstrap files to your web page. You have to link the Bootstrap files to your web page. And you already know what are the files required. So to use Bootstrap, what are the files required? In the head section, we need one link relation, style sheet, href, node modules. In that bootstrap icons, in that font, in that bootstrap icons.css. This is one file you need. Another file is link relation style sheet, href node modules. In that bootstrap, in that dist css bootstrap.css. This is another file you need, and one script file also required. And the script file is node modules. So in that bootstrap dist js bootstrap bundle.js. These all files are required to use Bootstrap in your project. In addition to your React files, already you learned React files, you have to do that. One more trick you will learn in future. What is the trick is in interviews, when you go to React and all interviews, they will show you a HTML page, and they will show you that in that HTML page, a lot of logic is working. Button click, some functionality, drop down change, some functionality. Usually that functionality comes from a JavaScript file. In JavaScript file, we write the logic and we link the JavaScript file to our HTML page. But they will show you that in the HTML page, there is no file linked. There is no file linked. That means no CSS file linked, no JavaScript file linked, but they are working. They will ask the question like how it is possible. How it is possible without linking a CSS file, the CSS related styles are working. How it is possible without linking a JavaScript file, JavaScript is working. That is possible by using special tools. And by using those tools, when you build a project, you can set mapping. Mapping means files will be in one folder, your page will be in another folder. Without linking the files, you can make the page to use those files. We set the configuration in the background. We will set the mapping in the background. So it is possible. And for that, we use some specialized tools for building projects. Those tools are called bundling tools. So we have bundling tools like so popular bundling tools we have like Webpack, like Parcel. Bundling tools are like White. These are popular bundling tools. At high level, projects are built by using these tools. Web projects are built by using these tools. We use Webpack, we use Parcel, we use White like tools. By using these tools, if you build a project, you can set the complete configurations in such a way that you will not link the files, but they will be working. That means many times people ask this question like, sir, in my website, I have 10 pages. In 10 pages, I want Bootstrap, JavaScript. Every page do I need to link this? As of now, you have to do that. In every page you have to link. But in future, when you learn these tools, which you will learn in React, I will show you. When you learn these tools, all the configurations are set in one file, and without linking the files, they start working. So in the background, we set the mapping like that. These are very popular tools for building projects. Webpack, Parcel, White are very popular tools used to build apps. Configuration of applications, web applications are done by using these tools. For example, you see, we have tools like Webpack. This is Webpack. It is a popular bundling tool. Bundle your assets, bundle your scripts, bundle your images, everything will be there. This is nothing but bundling tools are nothing but they are used to build projects and configure projects. So one is Webpack, another one is Parcel. Parcel is also a bundling tool. It is also a configuration tool used for web. We have another tool like White. White is also a tool. These are all very popular tools used in real-time projects for building apps. Building especially web apps. Web applications are built by using these tools. Sometimes you will directly use them. Sometimes they will be working in the background. That means you may be thinking like you are not using them, but actually they are working in the background. So how to use these tools you are going to learn. So all are not required. Any one tool we can use and we can build application. That means if anyone asks you a question like without linking the HTML, CSS, without linking JavaScript, CSS files, can we use those files in a HTML page? Yes. And how it is possible? By using bundling tools. And these are the bundling tools. We can use them. So as of now, we are not building a complete web application. We are using React in one page or two pages. Then that's the reason we have to link all these. Later we will use that mapping technique. So once you set up all these, now Bootstrap is ready. You can start using Bootstrap in our project. Let's see how to do that. Today what we are going to see is we are going to build a real-time React application Netflix like screen. That means user interface. Functionality we will do later. That means we will learn how to design this screen. And to design this screen, we need to understand its architecture. So how it is actually built. This is a React application. Netflix is officially a React application. And in this application, there are so many components. What are the components? Actually, when you look at this application, you can see that in React application of Netflix, you can see whenever I open Netflix, the initial screen comes. In that screen, there is a background photo, and the background photo is not dominating. There is one background photo, it is not dominating. And that means one component is having a background picture and which is not dominating. Actually, that component that when you open Netflix, a component is displayed. This component is this component is Netflix index. That is Netflix index component. In Netflix index, whenever I open Netflix index, a background picture will come. On that index, you can see on that index, you have a header. This is header. Na? That means inside the index component at the top, there is a header. And below that header, there is another component. Below the header, there is another component. And remember, you learnt already HTML. In HTML, you learnt semantics. And the semantic which is used as an entry point, that means this is the entry point of website. And this entry point is nothing but user will start using from here. This entry point is called as main. Entry points are called as main. In HTML, you have a main semantic, header semantic, footer semantic. Main indicates entry point. That means it is the entry point of your site. And so Netflix is having one header component and a main component. These two are present inside which component? Index. And inside the main component, this is another component called register. That part is register component. Inside main, there is a register component. How you say that it is a component? Because you can see that register component at the bottom, it is repeating again. That means that register component is repeated again. That means in the page, the component is used in two places, right? It is used at the top and it is used at the bottom. Here they are using it. So now what is the hierarchy here? We have an index. Inside index at the top, we are having another component. This component is what? Header component. So this is Netflix header component. Okay. Below that Netflix header component, you have another component. What is it? Main component. So this is Netflix main component. This is Netflix main component. We have Netflix main component. Inside the main component, you have another component. Main component have some titles. And inside the main component, you have another component. What is this? So this is Netflix. Which one? Register. This is Netflix register component. So this is the main component and the register component. Just component. Yeah. We have main, register, and all these components. This is the hierarchy. So I want to just build the initial screen of Netflix. Then obviously, how many components are required? 4 components are required. And application starts with only one component. Which one? Application starts with which component? Index. Inside index, header, main, and inside main there will be register. This is the hierarchy we need to maintain. Let's see how to build this, right? So we will go to our project. Let's add a new HTML page in public. I will give the name as netflix.html. In Netflix HTML page, the basic HTML, I will write the title as Netflix. Let's link the general CSS files. So link relation, we haven't installed Bootstrap. So we will install Bootstrap, npm install Bootstrap and Bootstrap icons and save. And if you learned Bootstrap, you know without installing you can get CDNs also. Bootstrap CDN also you can copy from the website and use them, right? Now it is installed. Let's link this. Link relation is equal to style sheet, href, node modules, Bootstrap icons, font icons.css. That is for icons. Another link relation style sheet, href, node modules, Bootstrap, dist, css, bootstrap.css. This is another file. After that, we need a script file, script source, node modules, bootstrap dist.js, bootstrap bundle.js. These are for Bootstrap. I will put a HTML comment here, and this is Bootstrap library. Okay, let's link the React library. So React library, you need what files? Script source. First one, node modules, React, CJS or UMD. UMD React development.js. Another one, so node modules, React DOM. In that, UMD React DOM development.js. One more is there. So this is node modules at the net Babel standalone babel.js. That is the React library required. Actually, this is React library and this is compiler. Compiler library is required. These three libraries we are linking. The Bootstrap library and the React library and compiler. And once you do this, now in the body section, we need to check whether JavaScript is enabled or not. For that, you need an element called NoScript. Please enable JavaScript on your browser because React have to use JavaScript. Many times for freshers, they ask like, if I disable JavaScript in browser, can I use React? No chance. Any JavaScript technology cannot be used if JavaScript is disabled in browser. So JavaScript can be separately disabled by users, and users have to make sure that in their browser JavaScript is enabled. And to tell the users whether JavaScript enabled in his browser or not, we use this NoScript of HTML. And we need a actual DOM element. What is it? Div. ID is what? Root. So here the entire content will be added. Here entire content will be added. Okay. Now once you do this, now we need to write our script. This is nothing but, so this is React application library. This is your application library. Application library contains your application script, your logic you have to write. How to write that script? And what is the script type? Script type should be text slash what? Babel. Okay. Now here we need to create the components. So how many components are required for our Netflix? How many are? 4 components are required. So every component is a function. What is the first one? Netflix index. Okay. What is another one? Netflix header. Netflix header. Okay. Next what? Netflix main. Okay. Next, you need another function. What is it? Netflix register. These are ready. Now let's design this index, and it should start with index. How we start with index? We have to use React DOM. These capitalizations, everything matters. React DOM dot which method? Render. Which component you need to render? Netflix. Netflix, which one? Index. Where to render? Inside the root. So document dot get element by ID. What is it? Root. Into that you have to render. That's how we need to do. That means it is going to render the index. Okay, let's design the index. We will create the index here. Return. Every component should return a function, and it should return one fragment. Am I right? One fragment is required, div. Okay. For this fragment, what we are doing is, in this Netflix index, we can implement some techniques here. Technique is nothing but, see, actually the body of your page have a background photo. You have some background picture. That means Netflix background image. Background also in the div. Suppose Netflix, I will put here a class. This is invalid because class is an attribute. We have to use what? Properties. So we need to write what? Class name. Class name. I will give a class name. Suppose BG image. That is a class name. Now what we will do, Netflix index is having a div which is BG image. Okay. Let's copy some picture here. So let's copy some picture into this project. In the public folder, already this public folder, some images means let's copy a Netflix banner background. Na? Netflix background images will be there. So let's copy some Netflix backgrounds. So Netflix background, okay, some background is there. It is 1500 is smaller one. Means little large we will select. So that is Netflix background image and it is 1000 pixels because we need minimum 2000 like that so that it can be larger. I already have one image. So Netflix banner related images. I will copy that. Yeah. I will copy that Netflix banner image and put it in our project location. Here I will paste that here. Netflix banner JPG. You can download a good size image and you can put it in your project location. Okay. Now let's run this. When I run this page, you can see it is initially empty. Nothing is there because index is empty. So we will write the styles. We will write the style. You can write styles in a separate page and initially everything we will keep in one page. Later we can design in another page. Here I am using style. Style we have BG. BG what? So BG image. BG image will have a background image. URL is Netflix banner.jpg. And height we will give 100 VH. You know, viewport height. That means it will fit that image there. And we need this image to fit correctly on screen. You know, background size as what? Cover. Then it will fit that completely. We don't want this to dominate much. Then what we will do is we will do one more. Inside this BG image, we will keep another div. And this div we will give as a class name as BG shade. Okay. What we will do is here we will write BG shade. BG shade, I will give background color as RGBA. You know, CSS colors, red, green, blue, and alpha. 0, 0, 0 is black color, 0.5 is transparent. And this height also 100 VH. That means it will set the height like this. That means we have a background image, but it is not dominating. You want more darker, then we will keep this 0.6 or 7. Then it will be more transparent, dark. So there is a background image, but that background image should not dominate. Then we have to implement this technique. So what you have to do, put a background picture. On the background picture, put a background color and make the color transparent. Through RGBA of CSS, you can apply that. Okay. Now your Netflix index is ready. Now inside the index at the top, you need which component? Header component. So let's go to the index. Here at the top, we need which component? Netflix what? Header component. We are adding Netflix header component in index. Okay. This header component is empty. It is not designed. Let's design header component. Header have to return a fragment. Okay. Actually, in this we will not use a div. We will directly use an header. Okay. We have a header semantic we will use. In header, two divisions are there. One division contains Netflix. And for this division, I will apply some class name as brand title. That is the class name. And after that, here I will use another div. In this div, we will have a simple drop down. Actually, drop down cannot have icons. For that, we will use a simple another approach here. So div. In this, we will use here an icon span, and span contains class name bi translate. That is an icon. And after that, we have a select. Select is a drop down. And the select usually have options. We have an option. And option is in you have language. And close the option. And in this, we have some option. So English. Like this, we can add the options. Okay, next, the appearance we will give later, right? After this, we need another div, and this div should use a simple button, and the button is sign in. Sign in is the button. And you can see in header, we designed all this. Usually, the header is added into Netflix page. And you can see the header is already there here. Now we need to set up correctly. So let's put the classes now. Now first important, this brand title, we will give here header, class name. I will give padding 4. That means it will have more padding. You know already these are bootstrap classes, right? For padding. I will give text white. That is text color is white. Now you can see that will come like this. Right now, another point here, we will use dflex, display flex, side by side will come. Another one, justify content between, and it will keep one left and one right. That is justify content between. These are all bootstrap classes. We don't need to write manually. Already classes are there. Just we need to apply. These are the bootstrap classes required. And okay, brand title we will keep little bit better. I will add a style called brand title. Font size, I will give 35 pixel. Font weight as bold, and color I will give as red, and it will be like this. We are adding the Netflix. You can add more size, anything. Okay, now right side, we need some more changes. This button will have a class name. And what is the class name? BTN danger. That is the class name. That is a sign in button. And this drop down should use a class name called input group. In group makes like, and this should use a class name input group text. Then it will get a symbol like this. You can see a symbol is there. But actually they use bootstrap icons and all. Temporarily we applied some classes. Okay, next. These two should display side by side. So then we use d what flex. They will come side by side. And justify content between. So align items center. We are using some options here. I will do one thing. They are not display flex required. We will do one more work here. What is that? Display as what? Inline. So this also will keep the class display as what? Inline. I think these are different divs. Achha, different div will not have that. So better we'll keep flex only, but we will design in another way. The row column we will use a flex is okay. Fine. Okay. Now I will just keep the flex because actually originally they are not using HTML dropdown. Originally they are using which dropdown? Bootstrap related dropdown. So or manually you have to write these effects because these effects are not enough to handle. We'll keep some more divs inside that so that they are not disturbed. Okay, now looks okay. And we will use this as class name. What is it? Form select. Form select is a class used for drop downs. Now it will be better. And margin here. For this button, we will give margin S as 1 or 2. That means left side some gap will come. Now this is the header part ready. Right, in the header part, we are keeping a drop down and a button. And here I am applying all the CSS related classes. These are all bootstrap classes. You all people learned bootstrap, right? These are all bootstrap related basic classes. And by using them, we can make the appearance more better using simple technique. If you haven't learned all these classes, on our Naresh IT YouTube channel, bootstrap related workshop videos are there. You go through them. In those workshop videos, we have explained all the bootstrap classes, components, how to use them. If you are not aware of all bootstrap things, you can go there. You can check that. Okay. Now the header part is ready. Once the header part is ready, so now what we need to do? Below this header, you need which area? Main area. Okay, let's go. Below this header, we need a main area. And actually, below the header, we will put another one. What is it? Netflix main. Netflix main is below the header. And the Netflix main, observe here, it is there, but there is nothing here, empty. Okay, let's design the main. In the main area, I want these titles. Huh? Let's copy this and let's go to the main. And remember, you already learnt JavaScript and you know hoisting mechanism. In JavaScript, what is hoisting? Hoisting is a technique where you can use and declare. That means there is no order dependency between declaring and using. Usually, first we have to declare and later we have to use. And you know that JavaScript functions support hoisting. That means here what I am doing, I am declaring a function below, but I am accessing above. Is it possible? It is possible because JavaScript supports hoisting, not hosting. It is hoisting mechanism. Okay. Now Netflix main, let's return the main area with a div. Okay. And better we will make this not as div. We will make this as what? Main. Okay, that is the main semantic. In the main semantic, we are keeping these lines. I will keep div. Okay, and I will copy this one also. Another div. We are adding these divs, and we will put here the class as class name as this is main title, and this is the class name as main subtitle. We have title and subtitle, and here we will add a break. Break also self-ending, self-ending BR. We are using that. Okay. Now main is inside this, and here there is main. For main, we need to add some effects. Main will use a class name text white, text center. That means it will keep text white and text center. That is the main. And what we will do is, this is the main area. And what we will do, we will write some styles also. Wherever main is there, so padding top, I will give as 100 pixel. That means main will shift down. And wherever main title is there, main title font size, we will give as 40 pixel. Font weight as bold. And complete main font family, I will give as Arial. And it is going to display in this way. And we have main subtitle. We have main subtitle. Main subtitle, we will give font size as 20 pixel, 22 pixel. Okay. And that looks fine. That's enough. That is the main area we are having. And you want some more 45, 50 pixel, you can increase the size little bit for that. So that is the main area we are having. Now below this, now comes important is inside the main area, inside main there must be register. Am I right? Inside main there must be register. So let's go to the main part. Where is this? This is the main. In the main, below these divisions, you need a component. What is the component? Netflix register component should be there. Netflix register component is currently empty. There is nothing in Netflix register component. There is nothing. So let's go to Netflix register now. It should return a form. Am I right? It should return a form. It should return a form. Inside the form, I will put a paragraph first. And the paragraph contains this line. Form contains this line. I will copy that. Ready to watch that line. Below that, we will keep a div. Okay. In this div, we are adding the class as input group. And here we are having input type as what? Email. And there is a placeholder. Na? So your email. Okay, what they given? Your email address. Huh? Yeah. Email address. Okay, that we will give. Below that, there is a button. And this button have a word get started. And it is having a span with an icon, class name as BI chevron right. Chevron right is the icon. And this button, this should have a class name called, this is email, have a class called form control. And buttons will have a class name called BTN danger. And this is input group we are having. And you can see the form input group, it comes like this. That is input group. We need to adjust the size, style, and everything. Here, lot of points we need to implement here. For example, you see this form have this input group and content, everything. Suppose I keep in a div. In a div, we are adding this. So it is going to display that. How to adjust the width of this? Suppose you are having, ready-made classes are there, W50. You can apply that. You see, it should look like this, right? So you can use the classes in this way. Suppose I use deflex, justify content. What is it? Center. That means it will keep like this. But actually all these must be in one container. Again, everything must be in one container. In one container, you keep all of them, then it will be better. Now this is justify content center. That means it will keep everything in center. And you know that when we use deflex, justify content center, all must be in one container. In one division, we are adding all of them. Now you can see the appearance will be in this way. We want this input group, this form, margin top 4, then it will come little down. And for example, input group, we have input group LG. LG will put in large. It is a little large input group. And this is the design of that. So colors, effects, backgrounds, your wish. You can change, you can implement and all. Now this is a React application which is completely component based. It is completely component based. That means here how many components are there on this screen? 4 components are there. Application is starting with what? Index. Inside index, at the top we have a main, and below the main, header, and below the header we have a main. Inside the main there is a register. There is a register. This is the components hierarchy. How you arrange the elements, how you design the elements is important. Applications in real world, web applications in the current generation are built by using this technique. Not only React, Angular also will teach the same things. But in Angular, components are different. Angular also component based. Vue also component based. Most popularly used component based libraries and frameworks in the current generation of application development 3. React is used, Angular is used, and Vue. These 3 are very popular. So all are component based. And some use actual DOM, some use virtual DOM. And React is virtual DOM. And everywhere the same functionalities will be there. But point is their components are different. Their rules are different. That means if you learn a technology which is component based, other component based technologies are also easy for you. Only the point is you will understand some difference, like in this technology, a component designed with these rules. In another technology, component is designed with another rule. So first you need to learn this, how to build a interface using components. That means a component inside another component, everything. And remember, always your application starts with one component. Inside that everything will come. And how many pages we are using currently? Only one page. That one index.html. In that everything comes. Suppose later when I want sign in, when I want some sign up, they will come in this screen only. We will not design separate pages. We will design separate components. And when user clicks, that component will load. That means you will not have earlier how to design one login page, one register page, and you make them clickable links. When you click the link, it will navigate you to that page. But in modern React applications, you stay in the page and that content will come here. And because you are using Bootstrap, we can design lot of interactions. For example, what interactions? See now, when I click on sign in, I want a pop-up. I want a sign in form. Then you know your Bootstrap, you can design. See what I am doing now. Let's go to where it is header na? Right. In header, this is a sign in button. Now let's design some interaction here. We are creating a div. Div have a class name as model. In Bootstrap, we have models. Model will have a fade. Model will have an ID. ID is sign in. Sign in is the ID. Okay. Now inside the model, we will create another div. This will be called as class name. This will be called as model dialog. Inside the dialog, you learn models in Bootstrap and class name is model content. Inside the model content, you have another div. This is called as class name model header. Inside the model header, I keep a heading saying that user login. And just I'm using some class name as bi person fill something. And user login heading. And we have a button. And the button is having a class name that is btn and btn close. btn close. Now below the header, I am designing a div and this is called as model body. Model body. Inside the model body, I am creating a data list and with the data term. And here, yeah, I will add the data term that is username. Just roughly, let's keep a text box. Input type is text. And we will have a class name as what? Form control. Okay. So data definition close. Similarly, we have password also. I will give password and this password have password. Okay. Now we need one more. I will keep another div. This is class name model footer. And inside this, we are having a button. And button is like login. Just we are adding a button. So I will give class name as btn some danger and w100 like this. Okay. Now you designed a model and I want the model to open on sign in. So the sign in button uses Bootstrap attributes. Data BS what? Target. Target is hash what? Sign in. Data BS toggle. Toggle is what? Model. Now one more is this button should close. No? So data BS what? Dismiss. Dismiss is equal to what? Model. Now I designed a simple Bootstrap dialog and I click on sign in, it should open that. I will put some text here. What is it? Header color is white actually. This I will keep as text danger. And I will add model dialog centered. Alignment also I will give here. And you can see now I click on sign in, a model pop-up will come. And actually entire model body text dark so that we can see those other text also. That is a model dialog. That means when I click on this, sign in, it opens a sign in form. And this is actually Bootstrap form. In Bootstrap, we designed a model that pops up and displays. So in single page applications, user will stay on only one page. Everything comes onto that page. There is nothing like one page to another, right? And these kind of designs are very common. I just created a model. You can have so many things. This is a basic example of this, right? Here we are implementing a simple component based design using Bootstrap and React. React is used for, and remember here our own components are there, predefined components are there. So our own components are index, header, main, register. What are inbuilt components? Model. Model is an inbuilt component. Input group. Input group is an inbuilt component, right? These are inbuilt components we are using, we are implementing. So this is the basic of how you design an application. So we have learned how to use React and build a UI. And only React is not enough. You need combination of CSS. You need combination of Bootstrap, right? With that, we need to build the application. That's the reason many times when people ask like, sir, I am learning React. I know little bit HTML, the CSS and Bootstrap, JavaScript. Is it okay? Not okay. You cannot survive as a React developer without a good knowledge of CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, because React developer is a high profile in current industry. High profile means we think React developer means a highly skilled professional UI developer. And a highly skilled professional UI developer cannot say, I know little bit CSS. They cannot say that I don't know Bootstrap like things. You can't say. You cannot survive that. So in real world projects, wherever these technologies are used, you have to use a lot of styling, lot of Bootstrap and all. So this is one example we created here. I will copy this example into the classroom code. This is an example of what? Netflix. Netflix.html. We created this example. I hope you can try this. Right. Once you can do this, now we have to learn more concepts about components. Now, all these days, what you done? You have used React in an existing application. Now we will learn how to use a separate React application, how to build a React application. Remember, this is the way how you build in old version. Old version means up to which version? 17, 18 version. From 19 onwards, it is changed. From 19, how we do? That means we need to learn how to build a React 19 app. In that, how to build all this interface, we will learn that. So now we are going to discuss the environment of React what? 19. How do we build a React 19? That we'll see in next session. This is enough. Not enough, huh? No, this is enough. You need to try now. So if you cannot try this next level, you cannot catch. You cannot handle that. So you have to try this complete example, right? And tomorrow we don't have session. Again, our session will be on Monday. Saturdays we will have session, but some few Saturdays when we have workshops and others, we will postpone the Saturday sessions, right? We will have session on Monday again. In Monday session, we will start working with React 19. Okay, Monday will continue, right? Thank you.